world. Stevie Wonder is one of my favorite artists. Superstition, indeed, is not the way. I cannot wait till we have a band so we can do this. So we can do this type of stuff every Sunday, live and in charge. Well, listen, y'all. Welcome to Sunday Sessions. It's so good to see so many of you already in the chat. Let me get this biggie size so I can actually see this. For those of you who do not know, my name is Darante LaMar, and I host these weekly conversations as a touch point for connection, inspiration, and a little bit of personal growth. My goal is to get people excited about the idea of being a better way to connect by building community without superstition. Community that is people-centric, progressive thinking, and life-affirming. So while today's conversation may feel like church at times, there will be no appeals to deities, doctrines, or anything that cannot be demonstrated as dependable information. At no point will you be asked to confess your sins or pick a savior. Instead, you'll be encouraged to learn, laugh, and love freely while giving others the grace to do the same thing. We are building something absolutely world-changing. And if this is your first time, welcome in. Let us know that you're new so that our community can show you some love. Also, let us know where you're joining us from. You never know, there might be somebody right around the corner from you who's looking to connect. All right, so are y'all ready for today's conversation? I'm starting a new series today entitled This is Kind of a Big Deal. Over the next few weeks, I want to share some insight from a very real and raw place in my own life where I'm still adjusting to navigating everything that comes with all of this. So let's kind of get into this. I want to open up with a story. There was once a man hiking alone through a dense mountain forest. He wasn't an experienced hiker, just someone trying to find his way out of a season of chaos. His backpack was heavy, stuffed with everything he thought he might need: old books, clothes, tools, keepsakes from people he hadn't talked to in years. And every step was a struggle. Halfway up a steep incline, his foot slipped. He tumbled and landed hard, rolled into a ditch just off the trail. His ankle was sprained, his elbow was scraped raw, and the weight of his backpack pinned him awkwardly in the mud. Now he lay there, groaning, cursing the forest, cursing his body, hell, cursing the map that had even led him there. But eventually, after enough time passed, a simple truth surfaced. He wasn't getting up with that pack on his back. He reached behind him, unbuckled the straps, and let the burden fall. Then, groaning, he pushed himself back to his feet, not because he was healed, but because he still had somewhere to go. And in that moment, he realized something he would carry for the rest of his life. Sometimes the only way forward is to let go and get up at the same time. I just want to encourage someone this weekend with the reminder that it's okay to let go and it's okay to get up. Over the past decade of my life, I've been involved in the dual work of letting go and getting up. And over this past weekend, while attending, presenting, and doing a little bit of networking at the Nashville Nuns Convention, I had a humbling reminder of my why. We talk about that in quite a few of our Sunday sessions. What is your why? What drives you? What is your character's motivation? This weekend, I got a really humbling reminder of what my why is. Why did I make the decision to start letting go and start getting up? So I got there in Nashville on a Friday. And honestly, I was honestly planning on spending much of my time in my room. People see me so much online that they assume that I am a naturally outgoing person. In fact, I am not. I am hyperproductive. The most comfortable place for me in the world is in my work. Outside of that, I'm honestly a nervous wreck. Every minute that passes that I'm away from my work, I'm thinking about everything that's likely falling through the cracks, everything that I'm not working on, and how much I'm going to have to do to catch up. So I was planning on working on content, running a few meetings, and getting some strategic planning done in between my sessions. But after I got there, hugged a few necks, and presented my first session, it became clear to me that this is kind of a big deal. Maybe I'm aloof, but I wasn't expecting there to be a demand on my time. I mean, you had people like Seth Andrews there, Arden Hart, Darrell Ray, Dan Barker. Like, surely people were going to be so preoccupied that they wouldn't even recognize that I was there. Boy, was I wrong. My first session ended up having to be moved into a larger room because the interest in that subject and in me delivering it was so overwhelming. I had people coming up to me with my books asking for my autograph, and I'm trying to figure out, like, how did you get my book? And it's like, oh, no, I brought it with me, because I'm like, I didn't bring any books to sell. Like, honestly, I wasn't even, as good as I am at stuff like that, I don't really think about things like that. Number one, I don't have the time to. But it was just so amazing to be there, and people are coming up to me with my books. Can you autograph this for me? And I'm going to be honest with you, my autograph sucks, especially if I'm not sitting at my desk. That's the only time I can write pretty. One person even asked me to sign their shirt, but I had hours of conversations with people who are passionate about the work that we're doing here to popularize critical thinking, to secularize community, and to globalize empathy. We stayed up into the early mornings, drinking, joking, sharing stories, making music and memories. There were several times that I wanted to just kind of get back to my room, because with every conversation, my mind was racing with ideas. Like, I'm like, oh man, I need to write this down. Oh man, I need to start planning this series. Oh my goodness, I've got to plan this event. But I couldn't leave because I realized this was kind of a big deal. On the 6-hour drive back home, and for all of this week, I've been thinking over those memories and building on those connections. You're actually going to be seeing quite a few more guests for our Sunday sessions. And we may be getting ready to see communities launching all over this globe with the type of momentum that we've been building. This moment for me has been validating in so many ways, because it has been my willingness to let go and get up that has allowed me to get here. Forgive me, it's the preacher in me, but I got to run that back, all right? It has been my willingness to let go and get up that has allowed me to get here. And I don't know what this is for you, but for me, this is kind of a big deal. So let me talk to my DODD World Group and Bridge City Global family real quick. Do you understand the type of impact we're already making, and we ain't even got started yet? Like, I mean, think about this. Number one, we are building a scalable, people-centered alternative to superstitious religion. Most secular communities fall short of replacing the structure, ritual, and emotional fulfillment that religion once offered. We're not just critiquing religion. We're not just criticizing it. We're constructing a viable, structured alternative, which could become a model for others worldwide. We are filling a massive void for millions who are deconstructing their faith, but still crave purpose, community, and some form of transcendence. That's not just content, it's culture shaping, and I'm excited about it. But then number two, I told you, this is kind of a big deal. Number two, we're leading the most dynamic growth curve in the atheist space right now. We grew from 52 to over 58,000 YouTube subscribers in less than a year, while producing over 770 videos in that time span. This channel has become a lighthouse for the deconstructing thinker, blending social critique, historical clarity, urban charisma, you got it, and secular compassion. We're shifting the public perception of what it means to be an atheist with intelligence, emotion, and unapologetic presence. Man, that's beautiful. If you're not too bougie, go ahead and type in the chat real quick. This is kind of a big deal. Like, number three, we're architecting a new ecosystem where community is the service. I'm not just building a brand, I'm designing a multi-tiered scalable infrastructure. We have Bridge City Global, which focuses on secular community and hopefully licensing others to do the same. We have Mastermind, which focuses on personal development and education. Window Shop, that focuses on values-aligned e-commerce. Omniverse, it's coming, a streaming platform for secular creators and storytellers. And then together we can for global collaboration and social change. We are building the infrastructure and technology for a future where community, learning, commerce, and entertainment converge around shared values, not beliefs. This is movement architecture. Number 4, like I told you, this is kind of a big deal. Number 4, and this one is kind of personal for me. This channel, the work that we've been able to do with this channel has allowed us to reshape the narrative of Black intellectual identity by centering figures like Hubert Henry Harrison, engaging with scholars like Dr. Jennifer Bird, and reframing the legacy of Black secularism. We're actively reclaiming space in the narrative of Black excellence for freethinkers, humanists, and truth tellers. We are decolonizing thought without asking for permission. That opens intellectual and cultural doors for others who've never seen themselves in this conversation. Now, if that's not something exciting, I don't know what is. And then number 5, I told you, this is kind of a big deal. We're operating like a movement, not just like a media brand. Our strategy includes developing leadership pipelines, licensing systems, ceremonial alternatives, thoughtfully designed onboarding funnels, physical community expansion, like what we literally have going on in Southern California right now. We're looking for we're building volunteer to full-time pipelines. We're not chasing virality. We're designing sustainability. Movements don't go viral, they grow roots. Can I run that back? Movements don't go viral, they grow roots, okay? We're planting something that could scale globally, redefine what secular organizing looks like, and liberate people beyond the tired frameworks of either religiosity or hyper-individualism. This is kind of a big deal because we're not just reacting to the world weary of religion, we're rebuilding it differently, and the world is watching. And this is why we do what we do. This is why I'm opening this series of conversation with let go and get up, because I want you to understand that this is kind of a big deal, that you are kind of a big deal. And as long as you're here, we're not going to let you sleep on yourself. I'm going to give you reason to rise every chance I get. So if you're excited about today's conversation, will you go ahead and type let go and get up in the chat? Because you are way too much of a big deal to be holding on to that and to be staying down there. Go ahead and let somebody know, let go and get up. Let go and get up. Let's get into this, man. So glad to have y'all here. I hope y'all enjoyed that introduction. Now we're about to get into this. So when something is truly important to you, letting go and getting up are often the first steps to making it happen. Over 10 years ago, I started realizing that this world was more important to me than a possible other world or afterlife, and that I didn't want to live another decade of my life blindly existing without using my existence to contribute to the progress and betterment of the world I lived in. I've constantly called this out as my own little bit of righteous selfishness. It's not just because I'm this holy and I just love everybody so much. I mean, I do love everybody. I don't know how much I love everybody, but I do love everybody. But I'm not going to lie to you. This is selfish for me. There is a real reality. Number one, I have to live in this world. And then number two, my children will have to live in this world. And then number three, their children will have to live in this world. And so I feel, and it's just me, I'm not saying anybody else has to have this obligation. I'm just giving you a little insight into my mind and the way that I approach this. But I feel since I brought children into this world, I have an obligation to try to do my best to make this world a little bit better than it was when I brought them into it, and to equip them with the tools as well as equipping others to do that same work. I feel like it's my responsibility to do something with my life while I'm here. So Superstition had tricked me into pretending to help for nearly 2 decades of my life. And I knew that I could never get that time back. But I didn't want to pretend to help anymore. I wanted to actually help. But in order to do that, I was going to have to let go and get up. I unapologetically started letting go of everything that did not serve me in order to foster personal growth and well-being. And I'm not saying that this was an easy journey. I'm telling you, this is the journey that I went on let's talk about a few of the things that I let go of. The first thing, and I don't even know if it's a first, so we're just gonna say one of the things that I had to let go of, and these are like twins, all right? We call these twins. I had to let go of the twins of guilt and shame. Y'all didn't see that coming, did you? I bet you didn't see that coming. I zigged when you thought I was gonna zag. It's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna stay right here and wait on you a little bit. The first things that I had to let go of were guilt and shame. You'd be surprised how much of our antisocial behaviors, how much of our passive aggressive behaviors, how much of our assertive aggressive behaviors are actually based in our own guilt and shame, and battling with that and battling with the way that we think others perceive us. And so I had to get to a place where I was really comfortable letting go of guilt and shame. So one of the things that I came to, and you've heard me talk about this through many of my videos, I had to come to the realization that I am not a creation. All right. I am a consequence. All right. Oh, y'all ain't ready for this. I am not somebody's creation. I am not somebody's project. Baby, I am a consequence. I am a generational consequence. I was not designed by a deity. I was delivered by a doctor after working my way through a womb. Before that, I was being fertilized in the fallopian tubes. I am the consequence of what happens when survivors get together sexually and sow seed. I'm what happens when Jack and Jill go up a hill to allegedly get some water, but then Jack goes down and Jill does too, and they come back with a son and a daughter. I am not someone's masterpiece, nor am I anybody's mistake. I am the consequence of consistently being in the right place at the right time to be alive. Do not minimize my story by calling me a creation. I hope that was good right there. Jack and Jill had to pull on them. Do not minimize my story by calling me a creation. My whole life, my whole existence is a consequence of generational adaptation and evolving. Don't limit me like that. I am kind of a big deal. You know what I'm saying? You better say that to yourself. No. I am kind of a big deal when you make me a creation. Like there's these lines that I have to fit into. You undermine who I am and what I actually have the capability of being. Don't you dare call me a creation. Are y'all ready? There are levels to my development. My identity was not assigned at birth. My being wasn't assigned at baptism. I've been becoming. Oh man, even since before I was in the womb, I am a survivor of complexity and chaos. No one created me. I emerged victorious in the sea of life. Can I say that one more time? I told Facebook this morning that I felt a little preachy and I didn't even know what that was going to mean. And so they were just going to have to get here to find out. But I love that. No one created me, baby. I survived complexity and chaos here. No one created me. I emerged victorious in the sea of life. That's how I'm here. That's how I'm here. Man, there was a lot of other sperms. Millions didn't make it, but I was one of the ones who did, man. So for this brief glimpse of eternity that I get to share with all of you right now, I plan on shining my brightest until I return to the stars from whence I came. I am not letting anybody down. I'm just living out my reality. That's the freedom you give yourself when you separate yourself from this creation ideology. I ain't worried about letting anybody down. You didn't lift me up. Come on now. No. Carl, this is so good. Me living my life is not me letting anybody down. Nope, I am not a creation. I'm not anybody's masterpiece. I'm just living out my reality. I'm simply dealing with what I've been handed down. And I'm proud to say I'm the best that's ever done it in my line so far. I hope you can say the same thing. So like, if you're sad about my life, that's your problem. And you likely need to fix that shit ASAP. Well, I'm just so disappointed. See, I call that a personal problem. Well, I just wish he'd stop talking about that stuff. Well, see, I call that a personal problem. Don't he know he embarrassing us? See, I call that a personal problem. When you realize that it is not your responsibility to be the solution to other people's personal problems, you will absolutely run into your authentic self. I have to say it again. When you realize that it is not your responsibility to be the solution to other people's personal problems, when you realize, that's your problem, you will absolutely run into your authentic self. Listen, I can't keep shifting me to accommodate you, and you ain't even helping me do shit. See, the more I do that, the more I undermine myself. You ever think about that? No, what were they going to be embarrassed if I do this? Well, what are they going to say if I do that? See, that's how you're robbing yourself of you. Well, they're just so used to me doing this. Well, see, that's you robbing yourself of you. You are trying to evolve. You are trying to become something more. You know what I'm saying? People ask me all the time, well, you don't miss who you used to be? Does a butterfly miss being a caterpillar? No, I don't miss it. It was a part of my journey. But baby, I emerged victorious. I went to the next level. I'm glad of where I am, and I'm trying to help other people get the same thing. Just get free in yourself. Sometimes you do have to go through a fuck everybody else season. Sometimes you do have to go through my give a damn's busted season. Sometimes you do. So you can figure out what you actually think about yourself and what you actually want from the world that you live in. I'm too busy being proud of myself to be worried about how someone else feels about me. I am, all right, is that good? All right, so I am not a creation. I'm a consequence. These are things that help me let go of guilt and shame. Let me give me some water. These are some things that help me let go of guilt and shame. Here's this other one. I am not an experiment. I am an experience. Let that settle in. I mean, that's a good affirmation right there. I am not an experiment. I am an experience. I don't need to meet anybody else's success factors in order for my life to be valid. Oh, I ain't got to do it like nobody else. I don't have to say it like nobody else. I don't have to meet anybody else's standard of success. I don't have to raise my standards or lower my standards to accommodate anybody else. No, I am not anybody else's experience or anybody else's experiment. I am my own experience. See, watch this. Here's something. This is what helps me get rid of the guilt and shame. I've never been here before. Got it? All right, so good. Oh, I hope you're getting this. I've never been here before. And when I say here, I mean here, period. Whatever here is, this is my first time being here. When I was born, this was my first time being born, as far as I know. Okay, as far as I know, this is my first time. When I became a teenager, it was my first time being a teenager. When I became an adult, it was my first time being an adult. When I was born and found out I was black, it was my first time being black. Imagine my surprise that with all of this beauty, all of this sexy chocolate, that it's an acquired taste in this part of the world. Imagine my shock, But anyway, so I've never been here before. So I have to give myself the grace and the freedom to know that I've never been here before. So I am navigating this as best I can with the information available. And I give myself grace for that, whether others do or don't. Don't even need them to. I don't owe anybody else my existence. I don't. Well, Darante, if I was you, but see, that's the thing. That's statements like that are of no utility, because as far as we know now, the boundaries of science, stop at you being me. We can't do it. It just doesn't happen. There's no way you could be me. So why are you thinking about what you should be doing if you was in my shoes? That's a waste of time. What you need to be doing with your life is figuring out what you need to be doing with your life. All right. Hallelujah. Amen. Somebody say it. Yes. No. And watch this. Did I say y'all don't ever want to sign up for my coaching stuff, because like when it's Bridge City stuff, I talk to you like I talk to groups, like I talk to crowds. I talk to you like I talk to people, right? Now, when I'm coaching folk, when it's mastermind, I talk to your ass like I talk to me, okay? I talk to you like I talk to me, because that's how I get my ass in check. Anytime I see my mind floating into somebody else's business, like, man, if I was them, bruh, first of all, you not them, and that statement is not going to lead you anywhere but toxicity. So go ahead and make the quickest U-turn, all right? Take that next available exit. All right. So I don't owe anyone else my existence, and no one else owes me their existence. They're an experience just same way I've never been here before. They've never been here before. So I've got to be able to give them that grace too. All right. Man. And see, you will be surprised. And I open this part up saying this. You'd be surprised when you start letting go of guilt and shame yourself. It also helps you remove that judgmental, condemnational, convicting attitude that you have towards other people. It does, because often most of that is manifesting out of your own guilt and shame. Like if you ever notice, like, if you just go back in time to some of the old churches, was the old ladies they were always picking at the younger ladies who was sometimes more good looking, and always saying, you shouldn't be wearing this, and you probably out there, getting that pipe and stuff like that. They be doing all that. And see, what that's really coming from is shame. They're ashamed that they ain't getting no dick. Sorry, I had to say it. Couldn't do it. Couldn't resist. It was there, but it's coming from guilt and shame. Oh, man. And see, you can tell I ain't got no shame because I say shit like that. All right, let's go. So, big point. I don't know anyone else my existence. Sorry, babe. I had to. Sorry. You tell the truth, shame the devil, right? We all know what it was. Miss Maybell wanted some, couldn't get none. And so she picking that little Rosie because Rosie's still hot. You know what I'm saying? You know what it is. You know what it is. I ain't got to play. All right, let's move on to the next point before I say something that gets me canceled. Let's move on to the next point. All right. Oh, man. All right, the next one. In helping let go of that guilt and shame is perfection is a distraction. Progress is the destination. Okay? Perfection is a distraction. Progress is the destination. Once I let go of creation, perfection doesn't exist. If I wasn't created, there is no should be. There is no supposed to be. There is no have to be. I just am. Oh, damn, that's good. Oh, I think I just tapped in God mode right there. So when you ask me who I am, I just am. I am. I am not a creation. There are no expectations on my existence. I have no rules that I have to follow. I have no service that I have to confer. I just am. I exist. I do with my existence what I please. Man, this is good. All right. So I am who I am. So I let go of guilt and shame. The other one, guilt and shame was a little easy. Like as soon as I let go of God, it was very easy for me to let go of guilt and shame. Like I think the moment I let go of God, I was like, I think I want to be a hoe for a while. I want to try that out. I haven't, let's see what that feels like. Because I had no guilt and shame anymore. So I was like, why the fuck not? No, you give yourself those permissions to have those conversations. But the other part was much harder. And that was limiting beliefs. I had to, I didn't realize how many limiting beliefs I had, but man, I had so many. I actually, and this was when I was in talent acquisition, I started teaching people just out of stuff. Cause I tell you, like I deal with people that I deal with myself. I started realizing like, bruh, you use a lot of losing words. Have you ever talked to yourself like that before? Like, were you just listening to yourself, the way you're describing life, the way you're approaching life? And like at some point, like I got to that place where I'm listening to myself talk, and I'm like, dude, where is the win in your sentence? Where is the victory in your sentence? I was like, bruh, you have so many losing words when it comes to yourself and your own capacity. Like, it's like I had to start coaching myself out of that. So there were things like one of my limiting beliefs that I had was that others had more control in my life than I did. I firmly believed that. And I was a part of it. And I'm not saying this was the only reason people get this type of think this way, because we're all impacted differently. For me, it was my orphan complex, you know, where it was almost like offensive for me to stand on my own because I always needed to be grateful for somebody getting me off the streets, you know? And so I always felt that others had more control in my life than I did. So if something good was going to happen in my life, it was going to happen because of other people, not because of me. Oh, I hope y'all are hearing that. That was a limiting belief, because on the other side of that belief, what I ended up being able to highlight, what I ended up being able to identify was that I believed that not only was I incapable, but that I would always be incapable of controlling my own life. That somehow not having the social construct of a nuclear family had somehow made me less than anybody else, because let's be honest, that's the bullshit we marketed to teens. That's what we told them. If you don't have a father in your life, you're going to be broken. You got a hole in your heart. If you raise a child and it's not a two-parent household, that child is going to be fucked up for the rest of their life. That's the shit we told people. You know? And the psychology of that is it sows those seeds of, oh, I'm broken because somebody else didn't want to be a father, or I'm broken because somebody else didn't know how to be a mother, or I'm broken. And I'm like, motherfucker, birds get kicked out of the nest and still make this shit, okay? Hey, you are not broken. You are still here. Oh my goodness. Oh, so I had to break that limiting belief that no, I may not get it right. I may not get it perfect, but what the fuck is perfect? That standard doesn't exist. If everybody else has the right to figure that shit out and fuck around and find out, then I do too. And so just give me grace. Y'all, I'm preaching better than y'all responding now. So just give me grace while I am figuring it out. And that's what I had to, oh man, that's what I had to do for myself. I had to give myself grace to say, bruh, you can figure it out. Why the fuck would you want their advice anyway? Look at how they shit going. Man, I hope y'all left the kids in another room. We'll set up children's church for them next Sunday. But no, I had to break that limiting belief. That no, I mean, I get it. Other people had things. You know, other people could do things that could impact my life. Yes, they could. They could. But I remember the last time. I remember the last time I let that happen. I remember the last time. Because that was finally the time where I learned my lesson. Well, Darante, this ain't about them and how toxic they are and how inhumane they are. This is about you and your unwillingness to trust yourself. This is about you and your unwillingness to protect yourself. This is about you and your need for them to validate you, for them to affirm you. But at some point, motherfucker, you're going to have to get in this ring for your damn self. And that's what I did. I was in a situation where this church was doing me dirty. Doing me dirty. I mean, the pastor threatening to fire me every day because of my poverty. Poverty that he had manufactured. You know, people will get you into a place where they know you have to depend on them, or at least that's what they think. And what he thought is that he had took everything from me, and so that I would be forever dependent on him until he decided to remove the chain. I surprised the hell out of him and everybody else by submitting my letter of resignation boldly to every person on that fucking staff and let them know why. Because I said, you know what? Yes, it is your fault. This situation that has happened, it is your fault. What my family has lost, it is your fault. The way you have betrayed me, it is your fault. But sitting here taking this shit is my responsibility. I can get the fuck up. One of the most powerful moments in my life. Oh my goodness. Whew. Okay. All right. So another one was another limiting belief, like I don't have what they have, so I can't do X. Right. And it still kind of goes back to that same place. Well, I didn't have a father and a mother. Oh man, I can almost cry when I think about how many times I used to say that, as if that was some type of valid reason to see myself as less than. But no, I didn't have parents who love me, so I'll never be able to do this. I don't have a family who supports me, so I'll never be able to do this. Which and honestly, like the thing that kills me, I have such an analytical brain, is that I can demonstrate that there's some truth to that. That when you are a child born into a situation where your own parents don't love you, then it is much harder for other people to treat you with any type of compassion or consideration. Happens a lot, but it's not a static truth. It's a dynamic reality. Damn, this is good. So they come from money. I don't, so I can't do this. They come from an educated family. I don't, so I can't do this. Ooh, has anybody ever found themselves in these types of loops and conversations where you determine what you can't do, not by your capacity, but by somebody else's perceived abundance? Like, that's the fallacy there, is that I'm saying I can't do this because other people have these things, but none of those things have any impact on what I can and cannot do. Now, interestingly enough, this was a limiting belief that I started unpacking while I was a pastor, because my church was not in a big city. We was in a small city. We didn't have a big budget, but I learned how to do excellence without excess. I learned how to do more with less. Oh, shit. And eventually that unlocked a monster in me. Like, there's a whole beast in here that you give me an inch and I'll take 500 miles, bruh. Like 525,600 minutes. You understand? Like, holy shit. Because now I realize, like, oh no, I don't need what anybody else has. Oh, I'm about to set somebody about to get free right now. No. I don't need what anybody else has. No. What they have has uniquely informed who they are. Whatever I have or whatever I don't have has uniquely informed who I am. And oh my goodness, because I no longer look at, and this might trip y'all up a little bit, I no longer look at some people have good lives and some people have bad lives. To me, we all just living. Some people have different circumstances than others, but we are all just living. And just because your living is a little more well decorated than mine does not mean that you have any more capacity than I do, okay? Whether the Barbie doll has on a dress or the Barbie doll has on overalls, it's still a Barbie doll. It can do the same damn thing, all right? No, you learn that I don't define what I can do by what others have or what others don't have or what others will do or what others won't do. I define what I can do by what I am willing to try. All right? Because honestly, and this is just a little math here, honestly, I'm not going to do anything that I don't try. And so what I know, and y'all, I think y'all have heard me say this before, I don't give myself permission to know anything that I don't know. And so if someone says, Darante, can you do this? If I've never tried it, I don't say I can't. If I say I can't, I'm giving myself permission to know something that I don't know. I don't know if I can't do this because I haven't tried to do this yet. You get it? You get it? No. So there's always a can somewhere, but it comes after try. Whew. Can I say that again? There is always a can somewhere, but it comes after try. Doesn't always come after the first try. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna say something that's embarrassing, but I don't have no guilt and shame. It took me 3 tries to get my driver's license. These glasses are not a flex, okay? If you see me driving without these on, get the fuck out the way. I've chosen death that day and decided to take an innumerable amount of people with me because I can't see. All right? All right, you've all been warned. You've all been warned. You know how back in the day in the movies, they'd always have that thing of like, oh, take your glasses off. I bet you look so beautiful when you take your glasses off. And I'd be like, I can't look at shit when I take my glasses off. Okay? All right? So no, let's not do that. And like, what type of messed up you got to be where you can't see how beautiful I am through glass? Like, wow, that's real. That's not a flex. It's not a flex. Especially through these magnifiers. I know you can see my face with it. This gives you a better view. All right, I'm sorry. I had to do that. All right. I had to do it. Another one, another limiting belief. Another limiting belief is people won't like the real me. I had to let go of that. I had to let go of that. And I had to be honest about what I was really saying. What I was really saying is I'm afraid I won't like the real me. You ever been there before? You know, it's like, nah, people ain't gonna really like the real me, man. And it's like, no, Darante, the fact that you think that's an acceptable way to live your life means you're the one uncomfortable showing up as the real you. It's not about what they think. This is your discomfort with yourself. And you got to fix that, you know? Because as long as you're living in that place where you're afraid that others are not going to like the real you, then you have likely never even met the real you. You probably don't even allow the real you to speak up on the inside. Every time the real you starts voicing itself, you start silencing it. Man, this needs to be church right now. We need a band right now. I be having all you motherfuckers crying right now. But this is real therapy that's needed. This is real healing that's needed. Like that's stuff that I had to work with. This is something that I've been encouraging people to do for years, is that you've got to get so honest with yourself that there is no thought within you that you're suppressing. You got to give yourself that safety. You got to figure out who you are. And maybe who you are is a jackass. Maybe that literally is who you are. And if you pretend not to know that shit, you're going to be doing a lot of damage to people. So that there is no healthy way to avoid getting to know your real self. You're either going to be hurting you or you're going to be hurting others and not being able to figure out why, because you're literally living a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde situation. Damn, I am preaching better than y'all are responding. You can't even figure out why you just snap sometimes when you snap, and it's because you're forcing yourself to live in these false dichotomies instead of being able to pour all of yourself out on the table and say, you know what, all of this shit is me. All right, all of it is me. I think Christianity and religion, by far and large, has tried to force us into these false binaries in our minds where only the good stuff, or the stuff that I identify as good, is me, and the stuff that I identify as bad, that's the devil. Or the other way around, that the stuff that is bad, that's me, the old sinful me, and the good stuff that I hear, that's God, that's my intuition, that's that higher self. And I'm like, no, motherfucker, it's all you. It is all you. It's the nice you, it's the mean you, it's the flirty you, it's the freaky you, it's the violent you, it's the drunk you. It is all you. And you got to get real honest with that. You got to get real honest with that. You got to get real free in that. Because I'm going to tell you something. People who are not have a hard time with being responsible for themselves, and therefore have an even harder time of keeping themselves from harming other folks. You know? Like, you ever experienced a blackout, and when you blacked out, you did some shit that you didn't want to do or didn't know you did? A lot of times that's that part of you that you've kept suppressed for so long, trying to hide, that it manifests under high pressure, under duress, you know? And so I approach things like this much differently than many people. When I see a problem that happens enough to where we can say this is a statistical norm, you know, this happens enough to where you say you got 10 people in a room and 8 out of 10 are going to say, yes, I experienced this, then this is a norm. All right. Which means at that moment, it's not an individual problem. This is a people problem. You know? All right. Okay. I'm getting off. This is good church. All right. Another thing I had to let go of. You ready? Unhealthy relationships. That one, whew, that was big. I gave myself permission to shift from ornamental to functional relationships. From ornamental. This started when I was a pastor. It was my last few years of pastoring, and I realized, like, I got all these people at my church who have titles, but I'm still doing all the damn work. All right. And then that became like an eye-opener moment for me, because it made me think, oh shit, how many other people in my life have titles, and yet I'm the only one doing the work. And I realized, nope, I don't need any ornamental friends. I don't need ornamental family. Nope, if something is going to be in my life, I need it to be functional. I started wondering, like, who do I call? Why am I calling you mother if you're not going to be mother? Why am I calling you father if you're not going to be father? Why am I calling you brother if you're not going to be brother? Why am I calling you friend if you ain't ever going to be friend? No, I don't, man, I hope y'all are ready for this. I don't need badge relationships. I need bridge relationships. I don't need relationships where I just got bragging rights, where I can say, oh, here's my friend badge. No, baby, I need bridge relationships. I need relationships where we are going somewhere together. I need relationships where we are working on something together. How are we helping each other on this journey? Yeah, I had to reinterrogate my relationships across all levels. For a romantic relationship, it has to be more than sex. I'm good looking. I can get sex when I want sex. I was able to get sex when I was fat, and I was super fat, like real fat. People fuck fat people too. Y'all don't know it, but they do. Y'all know it. Y'all know it. You know, them people on 600-pound life don't be single. Okay. But no, if we're going to have a romantic relationship, like it has to be more than just sex. I'm through with badges. For my church staff, it had to be more. It had to be organizational over ornamental. I don't want to be like, oh, we got all of these people with titles, but when someone needs help, there's no one to go to. You know what I'm saying? Yes, fat kink, it's good for you. And then even familial, it has to be behavior over blood. I don't care how close we're related as blood. If you do not behave as my family, you are not my family, period. In 2016, see, my family don't realize I lost them in 2016 when my family lost everything and not one of them reached out to us. I was like, oh, okay, it's clear to me. I have no family. Behavior over blood. All right, so let's go so we can get this thing wrapped up. Damn, we've only been in here for an hour. Like we had a full like music set and everything, you know? Whew. Oh man. Oh, this fatty's on top. I love it. I am not with y'all today. All right, so let's talk about how to practice healthy letting go, and then we'll move on to the next section. All right, number one, identify what needs to be released. Now, I gave you my stuff. Now, when I'm giving you my stuff, it's not me saying, hey, you need to do this too. It's me putting myself out there. I'm getting naked so you can get naked too. All right. So I'm saying this is the process I went through. This is the journey I went through. These are some of the things that I needed to let go of. These things were stunting my personal growth. These things were harming my mental health. And they were really just destroying my ability to engage the world in a way that would be meaningful for me. And so now that I've released those, and I don't even want to say released like it's just a done or finished work, but now that I've started releasing the ideas of guilt and shame, releasing those limiting beliefs, and releasing those unhealthy relationships, letting go of those things, it puts me in a better position to look at my own life and say, how do I feel about this? What do I want from this, right? So reflect over your own life and determine, like, what do you think might be some things you need to let go of? Is it some limiting beliefs? Is there some shame and some guilt that you're dealing with, you know? Is there some doubt in your own capacity? Reflect over your own life, including your relationships, your habits, and your beliefs, and start pinpointing what no longer serves you. Like, do you ever ask yourself, like, why do I still hold on to this? And man, it's hard, it's frustrating, it's intimidating, but on the other side of that question, it's liberating. You either come back reassured, knowing, no, I hold on to this for this. And it makes you feel good. Or you realize, oh, I've been carrying this and this extra shit has been weighing me down. That was literally my deconstruction. It was, Darante, why are you holding on to the idea of a God? It hasn't showed up. It's watched you cry for hours begging to hear its voice or to see its face and did nothing. It's watched you lose everything over and over again. It's watched you step out on faith in its name and it still didn't show up. Why are you holding on to this idea that no longer serves you? And that's such an intimidating question to ask. But it's a liberating one because you give yourself the freedom to actually answer the question. You say, no, why am I holding on to this? You know? So acknowledge your emotions. Don't suppress your feelings. Acknowledge them. Allow yourself to feel them. Allow yourself to process them. Another good practice is practicing mindfulness. You can engage in activities like meditation or yoga to stay grounded in the present moment. Now, I do want to break some of the clutter around the idea of meditation, because so many times when we think of meditation, we think of like the Homnio Regen Kyo, you know, and meditation can honestly take all forms. It's really about getting yourself into a meditative state of mind, right? And it's really just getting yourself to a place where you're comfortable thinking, breathing, and focusing. And so, yes, while some people that works best with slow music or silence, for you, it could be rap beats. I actually do meditate to rap beats sometimes, you know. All freestylers do, for real. Like, that's how you develop the craft. You meditate on the music, you know. You just meditate on the melodies. And so, like, a lot of times we take this stuff and add extra woo on top of it. That's not necessary. You can meditate while listening to heavy metal music. You could meditate while running in the park. You know, you can meditate while taking a shower, which is actually really great place to meditate. Just let the water hit the back of your head. I don't know if it's because I'm bald that it feels extra special, but yes, it's about getting comfortable. And I just want to say this because, yeah, I do want to popularize meditation because it's ultimately popularizing mindfulness. It's you getting comfortable in your own head. That's really all it is. It's you getting comfortable in your own head, being okay to travel up there. And I love being in my head. Like that's like, I don't know why people don't spend more time up there. That's where you are the most powerful you will ever be, is in your own fucking head. So I like spending time up there. I'm like God in there, man. Like everything else has to do what I say. Sometimes. All right, let me stop. And of course, like, seek support, man. Find some trusted friends. And again, we're not talking about badge friends, bridge friends. You know, like, if you could list out all of your friends and ask yourself, how many of these friends could I actually do something worthwhile with? And then ask yourself, how many of these friends would I actually do something worthwhile with? And then lastly, ask yourself, if there's a bunch of them that I wouldn't do anything with worthwhile, why are we actually friends? I'm not saying you shouldn't be. I'm saying ask that question. You do the same thing for family members. And then therapists. Like, I am working on right now getting a therapist. That's something that I really want to do. After spending some time at NanoCon and actually getting to speak with a therapist on stage, and then we ended up having a session afterwards. And I was like, holy shit, which I'm going to talk a little bit about today, I think. But I'm going to actually have her on the show with the pastors that we did, because like I've always known I've needed therapy, just because like I have a very dark past. I come from like a hard life, you know. It's a hard not life type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I come from it, like for real. I don't look, as they say in the church, I don't look like what I've been through. But the truth of the matter is, I never look like what I've been through. I'm just good at it like that. But therapy, I'm a huge advocate of therapy. I've always known that I needed therapy. I couldn't afford it, had no insurance. Hell, I'm back in that situation now, entrepreneur type thing, but couldn't afford it. And so I've just been very studious in learning how to kind of coach myself, you know, until I can afford to do better. But now, like after this last meeting, I'm really motivated to get a therapist, not even just as like, hey, help me deal with all these demons, but almost as like, yeah, help me win. Because like I'm hyper productive. And like that's what his therapist, like when her and I were talking, that's what she really hit me at. Because I was like, she's like, how do you feel? I was like, actually, I think I'm feeling pretty motivated to get therapy now. And then she was like, you feel motivated or driven? And I was like, oh, I think it's driven. Because what I'm excited about is not necessarily just unpacking all the emotional demons and shit. That's good too. But what I'm really excited about is being able to move faster. What I'm really excited about is being able to process more. So it's like, oh yeah, this is a superpower. So like for me being able to get a therapist is going to be like a flex. Oh, bro, that's going to be like a flex like a motherfucker. Okay, I'm back. So emotional support and guidance, you know, these things are important. And then, of course, a big one with letting go is you're going to have to learn. I got to find a better way to say this. You're going to have to learn how to focus on the present. Okay? You're going to have to shift your attention from the past to the present and the future. Letting go is so hard because you're letting go, which means I'm not going to have this anymore. You know, letting go of pastoring was incredibly hard. I guess obviously I haven't let it go. I'm still holding on to it, you know, but no, letting go of Christianity was hard for me. It was hard. But if I would have stayed there, thinking about how hard it was, I'd still be there, you know? So what I do is I let go and I practice self-compassion. I'm kind and patient with myself throughout the process. And I celebrate my progress. Look how far you've made it since you've let go. Look at how much you've been able to do since you let go. And at the end of the day, you didn't let go to harm anybody else. You didn't let go because you were mad at anybody. You let go because you needed to heal. You let go because you need something that was healthy. You let go because you wanted to be better, you know? And so once you see that, you give yourself that compassion and you begin to celebrate those steps. Letting go is not about giving up. That was one of my greatest fears. Man, if I let go, people are just going to say I'm giving up again, you know? Nah, bruh, you're not giving up. You're getting up for the first time. See, it's about releasing what is holding you back so you can move forward with a lighter heart and embrace new opportunities. It's about choosing to focus on what you can control and creating a more positive and fulfilling life. And that's literally where I live at. All right, so that's letting go. Let's talk about getting up. So, are y'all enjoying this so far? Has this been good? Is this helping anybody? Have I said anything today that made you say, damn, I'm glad I showed up today? I hope so. All right, so let's talk about getting up. Beautiful, beautiful. I love it. Getting up primarily refers to the act of rising from a bed or any other reclining position to a standing or a seated position. It could also mean rising to one's feet from a sitting or kneeling position. Additionally, get up can refer to waking up from sleep. For me, it was all of the above. But you know, like even in the Bible, the command for believers is to pick yourself up. You know, as I was in the throes of deconstruction, this was the most powerful realization for me, that getting higher would require getting up, and that getting up would require growing up. Oh my goodness. Getting up isn't just about not staying down. And this is where we got to do a little work at, right? Getting up is not about just not staying down. It's about figuring out what kept you down for so long in the first place. Like, what made you comfortable perceiving yourself as lesser or lower than others? It's about wrestling with, how did I allow myself to get so comfortable beneath their noses? In most cases, you will find that the answer is fear. It will either be the fear of falling or the fear of flying. Oh man. It will either be the fear of falling or the fear of flying. Why am I so comfortable down here? Because I'm afraid that if I actually try something, then it's not going to work. And then they're going to laugh, or they're going to talk about me, and it's going to happen in front of everybody else. Or I'm afraid of succeeding. I'm afraid of flying. And if I try and I get up there and it goes really well, I won't know what to do. It's fear. It's fear. For me, it was the fear of flying. And while at NanoCon, I actually got to work through this with the therapist. I got to walk through this recurring dream, which I know I've shared it with you all before. And as you know, like many people had dreams about falling, you know, that most terrifying dream, they're falling off a cliff and they wake up in their bed, or they're falling off of something. I never had falling dreams. I don't fall in my dreams. I do have a lot of violent dreams, and that might be something else to unpack. But I've never had a falling dream. But for the longest time, I did have recurring dreams of flying. And the interesting thing about those dreams is that each time I would have those dreams, they would kind of build on the sequence that came the last time I had the dream. It's a very interesting phenomenon. But in the dream, I'd be running, trying to attempt to fly. I'd be running, and then I'd jump and throw my hands out, kind of like Superman, and then just pretty much just crash into the ground like I'm sliding in the home type of situation. And typically I'd run into a tree, and I guess that was just for cartoonic effect, to hit my head on the tree. You know, I don't know. But after a while, I'd keep doing it. After a while, I'd keep doing it. And eventually, I'd take flight, or at least float. I'd be in the air, slowly floating, watching myself get higher and higher off the ground, which this might just be about me being afraid of being too high. Who knows, you know, but watching myself get higher and higher off the ground, and then becoming paralyzed with fear the higher I get. Because naturally, what kicks in if you've never flown before? What kicks in if you're a person, a human being, who is flying for the first time. You've never done it before. And you're floating above air and you're getting higher and higher and higher. And eventually you realize you know how to fly. You do not know how to land. Okay? Okay? So I'm paralyzed in fear, realizing that I don't know how to get down. And I don't know what happens when I go too far. Now, I rightfully identified this as a fear of success. But a therapist helped me go beyond that and realize that the reason success terrifies me, and y'all, we all about to cry together. The reason why success terrifies me is because I'm scared that I will never be enough to sustain it. Like I even just slipped up and said it. Like I was afraid, watch it, that I would go too far. That there's a limit that you can get to. And once you pass that limit, you fucked up, buddy. You know, and that's actually how I treated myself my entire life. I treated myself that I was afraid that if I got too successful, I'd become a villain. You know, like, and I really had to deal with this shit when I was deconstructing. I was afraid that if I do something great, that somehow I'm gonna mess it up. That if I build something incredibly significant, I'm gonna go too far. And she says, why do you think you feel that way? And I said, I don't really know. It's because you don't feel like you deserve it. So you have to create reasons. Oh man. Oh no, you don't. You're see, it's remember, oh shit. You're not a what you're afraid of. This is me talking now. What you're afraid of is what you don't know about yourself. And you think there's a part of you that doesn't deserve to be successful. You think there's a part of you that doesn't deserve to be significant. Some of you won't get up because you don't think you deserve to. Some of you won't get up because you don't think you have what it takes. You believe your default condition is broken, but your belief has nothing to do with who you can become. Fear is the projection of ignorance. Whatever you are afraid of is a representation of something you do not know. You're afraid of failing because you don't know how you'll handle it. You're afraid of succeeding because you don't know how you'll deal with it. Well, I'm here to tell you that it's about time that you start finding out. You know, when my oldest son when he got his first bicycle and I was teaching him how to ride the bicycle without training wheels, obviously he had a fear of falling, and that would keep him from actually trying to ride the bicycle. And so you know what I did? I said, hey, let's just get on the bike. Let's get on it. Get your hands on the handlebars. Now fall. So I tell my son, he's 5 or 6 years old, just fall. Huh? Fall. That's what you're afraid of. You're afraid that you're gonna be riding a bike and you're gonna fall. And I'm gonna be absolutely honest with you. I don't care how good you get at this, you're likely gonna fall. Even when you're really, really good at it, you're gonna fall. So this fear of falling is actually not gonna be helpful for you. So let's go ahead and get over it. All right. So the way we're gonna do it is you're gonna fall. So that way you can go ahead and see what it feels like. You can go ahead and have that experience and you can demystify that additional pain you're trying to add to it. You know? And that's what he did. I'm gonna fall. All right, get up, do it again. Fall. All right, now fall the other way. Fall. After that, he was riding a bicycle. Inform your fears. You know? Fall and feel it. When you inform your ignorance, your fear will dissipate. When you're dealing with fear, ask yourself, what is the thing that I'm afraid of happening? You know, what is the question mark? What is the thing that I don't know? And start doing that work. It's time for you to get to know yourself in a very real way. Getting up begins when you stop being afraid of you. Okay? All right, let's go. Let's go. Getting up isn't just about bouncing back. It's also about moving higher. It's about making the decision that I won't stay stuck down here. I don't care how the system is structured, I'll maneuver it. I don't care who doesn't approve, I'll ignore them. I don't care how they change the laws, I'll break them. I don't care what gets in my way, I will obliterate it. Because getting up is not just a choice, it is the consequence of knowing who the hell you are and what you will not tolerate. I'm going to run that back. Getting up is not just a choice, it is the consequence of knowing who the hell you are and what you will not tolerate. I wish I was talking to some people who were in the process of getting up. Man, I wish I was somewhere. Go ahead and tag somebody in the chat and say, I may not be up yet, but I'm on the way. Do you hear me? Nothing can stop me. I'm on my way up. I wish we had a fucking band, man. Oh, I wish we had a band. No, nothing can stop me. I am on my way. I'm on my way up. I may not be there now. Okay, I get it. It may not look like it now. That's fine. But I am on my way. And may the Sky Daddy have mercy on your soul if you try to get in my fucking way. Because it is not a choice, baby. This is a consequence. I know who I am, and I know what I will not tolerate. This is why I'm getting up. It was Frederick Douglass who said, and I quote, "You are not judged by the height you have risen, but from the depth you have climbed. And I have climbed from a mighty long way, and I don't plan on stopping now." Getting up for me was about taking inventory of where I was and determining if that's where I wanted to be, or if it was just where life had dropped me off. Was it just where I had landed due to a dysfunctional family, poor education systems, systemic racism, and even the folly of religious superstition? Getting up for me was determining that I wanted a different seat at the table in my life. Getting up was more than just getting up. It was changing positions. It was promoting myself to the CEO of me. For like 5 to 8 years straight, I was focused on getting a better view. Every time somebody talked to me at work, somebody talked to me about, Darante, what are you working on? I'm trying to get a better view. Why? So that I can get a better understanding of how to navigate. It was in 2022 that I came to the conclusion of that journey and finally felt that I had seen enough to believe in my own capacity to get up. And so in closing, I want to share the poem that I wrote in that moment. And interestingly enough, even though we're talking about letting go and getting up, I named this poem, "I'm Taking My Seat." Subtitle, "Fuck it, I'll do it myself." And so I want to share this with you today as we close, because this is the moment that I came into realization that I can do this. I can do me. I can be me. I don't need permission to be me. I don't need validation to be me. I don't need an audience to be me. I don't need somebody else to make me me. I don't need somebody else to crown me me. I can put my own damn crown on, and hopefully I can help others learn how to do the same with themselves. So, excuse me as I take my seat. I am sitting in who I am, not waiting to be. I've done the inner work. I've steadied my feet. And though I've stumbled at times, I've never lost my seat. I just wasn't ready to sit. I didn't have the line of sight. I wasn't ready for all of this. For me, it just didn't seem right. For surely there were others who were more qualified than I, better born and better raised, better suited for the right. But in all of this time, not one of them came. And because I wouldn't dare, empty the seat remained, unoccupied and unattended, like a crown lost in the rubble. And only I was discontented until I had gone through all the trouble to satisfy my security, establish my identity as the undisputed person I need to be, so that I can say confidently, excuse me, as I take my seat. I am sitting in who I am, not waiting to be. Thank you so much for joining me today for this Sunday session. And I hope I've said something. I hope this conversation has cultivated both insight and inspiration for you and your journey. Please connect with someone before leaving, because your relationships are the strength of this movement and this community. So find somebody in the chat that you didn't know before you got here and say, hey, my name is such and such. I hope to see you next time I'm here. We don't have any requirements for people to be here every weekend. You come when you want to come. You come when you need a little uplifting. But that is the goal, is to make sure that we have something for you every week that gives you a little insight, a little bit of inspiration, and a little bit of reason to keep rising. You can explore the links in the description to find ways to connect, including joining Bridge City Global by enrolling in BC 101, which is our free course, How We Change the World. It's a four-forum course, not heavy on the assignments, where you get to interact with other people who are joining Bridge City. You can also join my email list to stay updated on what I'm doing with the LDD World Group. And everybody knows the funnest thing in the world, you can financially support the channel, the content, the community, or the creator, that's me, through Patreon, YouTube, PayPal, CashApp, Venmo, or by purchasing something from Windows Shop. And I don't know if y'all have been seeing what we've been doing with Windows Shop, but it is becoming one of the most incredible tools that are out there. If you're wanting to go further in your own deconstruction and reconstruction, we have several study guides and tools on there that will be absolutely helpful for you. And then if you want to start hosting group conversations in your locality, those guides are a perfect tool because they have reflective prompts and all that jazz. All right, that's all I have for you today, man. We've done our best to try to make it easy for you to support. I sincerely hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. Please make sure to kind of build connections with everybody that's in the chat. And hey, consider joining our Discord to meet others. Until next time, keep rising. I love y'all. Be the bridge.